welcome back to the channel. If you're just joining, I'm saying welcome, and if you're my returning subscriber, thank you so much for staying with me for this long. As you can see from the title, today we're going to be talking about how to get a driving license in Hungary. I'll be sharing my story and how I spent 1.2 million to get a Hungarian driving license, and I'll also be telling you how you can get a driving license in Hungary today. So stay tuned. I'll start with the story time, and you can get the information about how to proceed with your license at the end of the video. So stay tuned until the end of the video. So quick story time. As some of you already know, my name is Precious and I'm Nigerian, but I'm based in Budapest, Hungary. And in a bid to settle in properly in Hungary, I decided to do some things. And one of those things was to get a Hungarian license. I mean, I didn't bring one from home from Nigeria, so I thought I should get one from here because why not, right? And so I started this journey of getting a Hungarian license in 2019, November. If you see the date here, so I brought all the proof with me to show you guys how I paid 1.2 million Hungarian forints to get myself a driving license. Like, I literally have all the receipts and all the proofs here with me. It was a really long process for me because it took almost 2 years. I had 2 pandemic lockdowns inside of my license period, and I had a whole lot of experience that I'm going to share with you guys today. Just stay tuned. So the Europe is not like the US where everyone drives a car from every distance, like because it's far away or maybe the transportation is not that great. Out here, the transportation is good. As in Hungary, everything works. The trams, the metros, if there's a problem with the metro, there's a replacement bus. So things work. But I just thought, like, okay, I really just wanted a license in case I want to travel and I want to rent a car or probably drive inside of the country. I decided I wanted to do a license and get a license, right? So I started the journey. I went and registered. I started the theory. I succeeded in learning for 75 hours. And then I proceeded to take the exams, which was a one-time exams. I passed it on the first try. And now the main challenge started, the practical. So I registered and I passed the exams, which was the theory exams. But bear in mind that I finished my theory studies in February. I had to wait 3 weeks to get an exams date for March, right? And now this is in 2020. The pandemic is already, creeping in also into Hungary. So I got the exams dates on March 13th or 15th. I have to check the documents for this. So I got the exams dates, and then I took the exams and I passed it at once. I told the school, the driving school, that, hey, look, I passed the exams, so what next? What's the next thing to do? And they said to me I had to wait until after the pandemic to be able to give me a teacher. So this was my exams, the theory exams that I took, and the date was the 7th of February. No, I was wrong. 7th was when I finished. 7th of February 2020 was when I finished the theory lessons online, which is the 75 hours theory lessons. And then I took the theory exams on the 13th of March or 18th. I don't have the document for that, but 18th or 13th of March the same year, so 2020. And how this works is you go into the transport office. It's somewhere in the 11th district. You sit in front of the computer and you just start to select all the correct possible answers you think is the right ones. And this is basically just a repeat of the things you've already practiced in the theory. So who gets the right of way, what side of the road should you be on, the speed limits, what to do when there's a car with an amber light or a car with a siren, a pedestrian, and things like that. So that's basically what the theory exams is. And then after you pass this, then you need to proceed for the practical. So for me, there was a bit of a condition to me practicing to my practical. I needed to have this outside of working hours because bear in mind, this was March. that I finished these exams. I had to wait until June. And remember, the pandemic really hit us in Hungary in March. So there was a lockdown from March. And now everyone is in home office. And this is not the time for me to start telling my boss or my team leader, hey, look, I got to take 3 hours out of work because I need to go to some place to go and practice some driving and blah, blah, blah. So I just told the school that, hey, look, I want a teacher who can actually teach me outside of the working hours. The reason why I needed this is because I was opting for the manual transmission. I've been driving since I was 16 and I've only been driving the automatic transmission. So coming out here, you have a choice. You can either get a manual transmission license, which allows you to drive everything or any kind of car, or you get an automatic transmission license. But the condition is that on that card is usually written automatic, so you're not allowed to drive a manual car. But I always felt like, okay, if you do know how to drive a manual, then you can easily drive an automatic. But the reverse is not always the case. And I already know how to drive an automatic, so I thought, do the manual transmission. So for this, I needed classes. I needed actual classes. But where I got it wrong is where I believed the papers that the driving school usually gives you when you first sign the contract, saying how many hours you needed to spend, when the exams could possibly be taken, how much you needed to pay. They give you a rough idea, right, about how much you should pay for everything. But boy, is that not wrong. Oh my God. Okay, let's keep going. So I got a teacher at the end of June. I remember my first class was 26th of June 2020, and I started to take classes. By the time I was already around like 29 or 32 hours, I asked my teacher, like, hey, what do you think? Should I go attempt the exams? And of course, he gave the go ahead. I went ahead and paid for the exams, which you always have to pay another 11,000 Hungarian forints. How much is that in euros? I don't know. I'm going to put it up somewhere. So I paid that to take the exams, and of course I failed. I failed because of my own fault, not necessarily because of the teacher, but this was the only failure that I felt like this was completely me. The rest of it, you'll hear about it. So I did these exams, and what I did wrong during that exams was I changed lane on a two-way street because I thought I was already on the one-way street, but I was turning into the one-way street. So for this reason, the examiner was like, okay, you failed because, you don't change lane like that. Of course, you shouldn't change lane like that. And every time you fail, you have to go back to do some more practice. So I went back, I kept practicing with the teacher. I kept, paying some more money. When I started, I was paying 7,000 forints per hour. That's the official price, right? But I had to pay an extra 750 forints per hour. And this is because my teacher was taking me outside of working hours. So that means for each hour, I was paying 7,750. It changed, like the price changed later on. But you do the math because I spent 119 hours. So you can do the math or start doing the maths now so you get how I got to 1.2 million. Okay. So I failed the first exams. I went back, did some more classes, started again for another exams. I paid and I had the next exams. That one I was failed because according to the examiner, I didn't turn my head to the left side to check a blind spot. What happened was I was on the one-way street. I was trying to cross this imaginary line because there were cars parked on the right side. And I used my indicator, I used the rear mirror, I looked at the side mirror, and I proceeded to get on that imaginary lane on a one-way street where there were just fences on the side of houses and cars parked on the right side. But immediately the teacher said, not the teacher, but the examiner said, oh, well, you failed. And I'm like, but why? And he's like, you didn't look in the blind spot. And I was like, yeah, but I indicated and I looked in the rear mirror and the side mirror. And he said, no, it's not enough. You need to turn your head. So I was failed for the second time. Another 11,000 forints gone. Okay, I had to go back again, do some more practice. Ask my teacher again, hey, do you think I'm ready? Can I go, register for the exams? And he says, yeah. I go in, pay another 11,000, get the third exams. And this time it was during my packing task. I had indicated to do a reverse parallel pack, right? And this driver stopped on the left side for me. And I proceeded to start my packing task. And while I was into it, I just felt, I couldn't do the complete, turn into that space without having to go out again. So I didn't go in at all. I had just the boots in, and I just thought, okay, let me just make it proper so I don't have to repeat this. I mean, I was in an exams, right? So I proceeded to just move out a little bit and start. And immediately my examiner, who usually sits behind, was like, okay, sorry, but you failed. And I'm like, why? What exactly did I do wrong? And he said that I was trying to do the packing task and I didn't notice the driver. And I'm like, but I did notice him. I indicated that I was trying to pack. He stopped and I proceeded with my packing task. And he said, yeah, but did you notice that he was trying to move when your boot was already in, but then you went out again? I was like, why was he trying to move? Like, I already indicated you gotta give me time to park. Why are you trying to move? It was a good question, guys, because really I'm not sure why that guy was trying to move. But anyway, he got me to fail again. Third time, okay. I keep going. At this point, guys, I already have anxiety. Every time I think about driving, I think about going to Budapest, because the place that I selected to, no, I didn't really select it actually. The place that my instructor starts from is on the Buda side. I live on the Pest side, and I have to go all the way to Budapest in some place called Virág Piac. It's like a flower market. It's just there, somewhere in Budapest. So every time I think about, oh my God, I gotta go to this place, I just get like a sinking feeling like, oh, are you sure I want to do this? But I kept at it. Being the usual self I am, I didn't give up. I just kept, going, spending more money. Everyone who started to do this license thing before me and after me that I know about didn't continue. Just me.